The harbour pilot noticed something wrong before the ship even crossed the breakwater. At first, it was subtle. The cargo vessel approached on a steady heading, engines humming at a low, controlled output. Her navigation lights were on. Her hull showed no visible damage. She rode the water evenly, not listing, not riding too low. Everything about her suggested competence, routine, even. Except no one answered the radio. The pilot hailed the vessel once, then again, using standard channels and emergency frequencies. Silence. No static. No interruption. Just an open channel and nothing on the other end. That alone was unusual, but not unheard of. Equipment failed. Crews got distracted. Ships missed calls. Still, the pilot felt it in his gut. Ships that drifted into port without answering usually showed signs of trouble. This one did not. The vessel crossed into the harbour under its own power, engines adjusting automatically as if following instructions. Docking thrusters activated at the correct moment. Lines were not thrown, but the ship slowed and nudged the pier with practiced precision, fenders kissing concrete exactly where they should. It docked itself. Port authorities boarded within minutes, expecting anything from a medical emergency to a mutiny. What they found instead defied every protocol designed to handle crisis at sea. The ship was empty. Not abandoned in the way derelicts are abandoned. Not stripped or damaged. Empty in the sense that a room is empty moments after someone leaves it. Still warm, still holding shape. The bridge lights were on. Radar spun. Screens glowed with active data. A half-filled mug of coffee sat beside the captain's chair, steam still faintly rising. A navigation officer's headset lay on the console, one earpiece twisted as though removed mid-sentence. The ship's logbook lay open. The last entry did not end at the bottom of a page. It ended mid-word. Visibility stable. No anomalies observed. Crew morale remains. The sentence stopped there. No punctuation. No signature. They searched the ship methodically. Crew quarters. Engine room. Galley. Cargo holds. Bathrooms. Storage lockers. Emergency stations. Lifeboats. Nothing. No bodies. No blood. No signs of struggle. No indication that anyone had left in haste, or at all. In the galley, food sat on plates. Bread had been sliced. Soup still radiated warmth from a stove left on low heat. A knife rested beside a cutting board, not dropped, not abandoned, but placed as if its user intended to return in seconds. In the engine room, the machinery ran smoothly. Maintenance logs showed no issues. Fuel levels were normal. Automated systems were engaged, but those systems required human oversight to activate in the first place. Someone had been there. Very recently. And then they weren't. The first official theory was evacuation. Perhaps a gas leak, a fire, or some unseen threat had forced the crew to abandon ship. But lifeboats were still secured. Immersion suits hung neatly on their racks. Emergency alarms had not been triggered. No mayday or distress call had been sent, not even an incomplete one. Maritime law is clear on one point. Crews do not vanish silently. Someone always calls. Someone always panics. Someone always leaves a trace. This crew left nothing. Investigators reviewed the ship's black box. Audio recordings from the bridge were intact until the final moments. Voices could be heard. Routine conversation, procedural confirmations, nothing unusual. Then, without warning, the voices stopped. Not cut off. Not drowned by noise. They simply ceased. The microphones continued recording ambient sound. The hum of engines. The soft click of relays. Footsteps were notably absent. It was as if sound itself had decided no one was present anymore. Even more unsettling was the ship's course. After the last recorded voice, the vessel maintained speed and heading with uncanny precision. Minor adjustments were made, too complex for simple autopilot drift, yet no commands were logged. The ship corrected for wind and current as though guided by invisible hands. When asked how the ship had navigated the final miles into harbour, one systems engineer said quietly, "It behaved like it still had a crew." Medical examinations of the food confirmed it had been prepared less than an hour before docking. Coffee temperatures suggested minutes. One pot of stew would have burned had it been left unattended longer than that. It hadn't. Which raised the most troubling question of all. Where did the crew go? There were 23 people on board, according to the manifest. Men and women with documented identities, families, Histories. Their belongings remained in their cabins, phones charging, books marked mid-chapter, clothes folded. Passports were locked in safes. Wallets lay on desks. People do not abandon their identities voluntarily. Psychological explanations were floated and discarded. Mass hysteria does not produce coordinated disappearance without chaos. Hallucinations do not cook food. Sleepwalking does not remove 23 people from a steel vessel without leaving a single mark. Then came the testimonies. A dockworker assigned to secure the vessel reported feeling watched while on deck. Not threatened, observed. He said it felt like standing in a room just vacated by people who had stepped into the walls instead of through doors. Another worker complained of pressure headaches and sudden fatigue. He quit the job 2 days later and refused to return to the harbour. One investigator, reviewing the crew logs late at night, noticed something no one else had mentioned. The handwriting in the final entries subtly changed. Not dramatically, still recognizably the same person, but tighter, more compressed, as if the writer had been running out of space long before the page ended. Timestamps on digital systems showed minor inconsistencies. Nothing provable. Seconds missing here and there. Clock drift beyond expected tolerance. Small errors. Accumulating. Theories turned speculative. A classified military test gone wrong. An environmental phenomenon. A neurological agent affecting perception and memory. None explained the silence. None explained the absence of even a single shoe, a smear, a fingerprint out of place. Most disturbing was the final camera footage recovered from the bridge. The cameras did not fail. They recorded continuously. At 3:17, the crew is visible. Moving. Speaking. Alive. At 3:18, the bridge is empty. Not gradually. Not person by person. Empty in a single frame. No blur. No motion artifact. No visible transition. One moment, people. The next, none. The ship continued on. Authorities quietly sealed the vessel. Cargo was transferred. The ship was scrubbed, inspected, and eventually returned to service under a different name. Official reports cited unexplained abandonment and insufficient evidence for further action. Families received compensation. No remains were ever recovered. No funerals were held. Unofficially, the ship gained a reputation. Crew members assigned to it afterward reported unease. A sense of being crowded in empty spaces. The sound of footsteps where none should be. Doors found unlocked that had been secured minutes earlier. One sailor resigned after claiming he heard voices over the intercom, faint, overlapping, as though many people were trying to speak at once through a single mouth. The ship was retired within 5 years. Today, maritime law courses still reference the incident, stripped of detail, reduced to a case study in anomaly. The files remain classified. The black box audio is sealed. But among those who boarded her first, one memory persists. The warmth. Ships go cold quickly when abandoned. Metal loses heat. Food cools. The air turns stale. This ship had arrived warm, as if the crew had not left it, as if they had been removed. And somewhere, between open water and safe harbour, something else had taken their place, long enough to bring the ship home, then left it empty.